Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Dominions 4 in the 7-person free-for-all series. This is turn number 39 for us as Shinuyama. I am flying solo today, so we'll have to make do without ICU4's expertise, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. This turn is not as impactful, at least, as the last two were. So we're just going to be reporting on several things. So the trade agreement continues with Ulm. Things are basically going really well between, in all the three-way alliance, Man, Ulm, and Shinuyama, considering we now have a very united purpose, and as we're going to see, Vanheim is really part of the problem at this point for Ulm. So I guess Vanheim mentioned that they're going to attack Ulm. That's diplomacy behind the scenes. But let's go down the order. Go down the list of messages. Man, I'm out of it. Let's see what we have. We have better research in construction. So we've finished construction. We basically have the really powerful items, which is going to be good. We'll be making use of that. Now we're switching into conjuration. I think this is already what we talked about last turn, but eventually we want to get to the we need to get to the bishop fish. This is the crux of our plan right now to possibly win in before the game ends, which is turn 50. Technically, I guess turn 50 is processed and turn 51 is given to us, and that is, we don't do anything with that, but we process turn 50. The same way you start at turn 1 having done nothing, but you process turn 1 to see the results. So we'll process turn 1, we'll look at turn 51, which will be, we won't do anything with it, but, so that I think that's important because if I'm going for victory, it may come down to the wire. So anyways, that's the movement for us on the research front. We're casting a whole bunch of things. We actually found a few magic sites. Garden of Frozen Flowers, sounds like water. Emerald Lake, Smoldering Starfish Colony, sounds like fire. And we didn't find any other sites, but some of these are redundant. Now, to the battles. There was a battle in Florian. This is a bit of an unfortunate one. If you remember, we sent 2 of our Shuras to kind of clean up the mess of Asphodel, and they just happened to get pretty darn unlucky, unfortunately. I mean, there is this terror. The Carrion Lords are, you can see that they're pretty good, decent casters. This one had Never Healing Wounds, but it doesn't really affect, I don't think that affects, well, it won't affect the outcome of this battle. But anyway, so we go in and we're up against, with Carrion Beast. This is going to be trivial for our Shuras to deal with, right? We're not going to take any damage from these, as we see that they did not. So, what's next? This Carrion Lord. And this is going to be a slightly different story. Alright, so here we go. And the problem with this Carrion Lord is that he has fear. Oh, dead now. Wait a second. Did I not watch this beforehand? Oh, I guess that wasn't the argument. It wasn't what I was trying to... I thought for sure... Oh, it's Smite that ends up killing us. Well, that's a unfortunate thing. I thought that we were killed by the Carrion Lord's fear, but I don't know where I got that from. So Banishment actually does damage. We're at 12. We're at 12. Still at 12. We resisted so far. Ah, it's so close. Fight him. 26 damage. But then 10 damage and... he retreats. Funny thing is, if he hadn't retreated there, he probably would have just swiped and killed the... but that's just not the way it worked. Unfortunately, he lost enough hit points, he decided to get out and didn't make it. Man, I thought it was I was really afraid of the Carrion Lord, but I had it wrong the whole time. So this is Asphodel's army, obviously not Dwarf Comic. This is just AI control stuff being funny. Okay, now we have another battle in Salam. This is right below our throne, which is below Asphodel. So Airmore over here, and this is Airmore attacking Agartha. And I guess this is just I guess this is Airmore's force, which is going to go take the throne. So we'll just do this one at triple. There's not much to talk about here, but this is still interesting for us to see what we might be up against. So they're definitely going to lean heavily on their knights. I don't see much in the way of spellcasters. What they have, one Dusk Elder. I don't really see any other interesting units here. So they'll just quit out of that and we'll see for ourselves. Yeah, they have 3 Mound Kings, Dusk Elder, and a Censor as their leading force. So only one real caster. That's really not actually, despite it being a sizable army, 300 from any other nation would be really scary. It's just not scary from Airmore without casters though. Okay, so Seneca, another province, another battle. I can't remember. This is just west of our already conquered throne. Yeah, this is actually a really important battle. Okay, I'm kind of glad that we're watching this then. We have Tortugason in this army, so this is actually one that we need to win, right? This is important. It's very important for us. So, Flaming Arrows is going to do a number, and then we'll do a little bit of Dust to Dust, I believe. Yes, definitely going to do some Dust to Dust. Just going to start eliminating them. There's a few Black Centaurs here, but I think some of our archers are focus firing on cavalry, which is going to do a lot of damage there. We see it, here they come. These guys actually break through to my main ranks, but the rest of them are actually fighting the hordes of undead. And the militia we're seeing here is just our province defense, so we obviously don't care about losing that. Any of the attacking forces over here have been eliminated on our Bakemono. So despite this being the last big army of Asphodel, yeah, I'm okay. We're not too surprised that this was not too difficult to deal with. Look at my hit points because of the Dominion penalty. But Dust to Dust, we're casting Falling Fires. I didn't see that. Let's try to look at Falling Fires next time it comes down. See how much damage we're doing. Zoom in a little bit. I think there's nothing else up there yet. Okay, where's Falling Fires? Oh, we cast Invulnerability instead. Okay, so we've already run out of my scripted spells. Oh, there was. That was a lot of damage right there. I saw probably like 9 squares of around 15 damage, so lots of damage. It's already over, right? At this point, it's just already over. We know that if they don't have any casters and they're just being mowed down by our undead, then it's just not even... There's no problem at all, right? Okay. And now it's over because there's nothing left. So let's take a look at how that went for us. So we did lose 2 of our tiny, not our Bakemonos, but in the middle, their group was actually breached at some point. I think it was by one of the big elephants trampling through. And 2 of our cheapo archers were killed, but we're doing relatively well. And we eliminated 200. So this is kind of how I would expect the battle with Airmore to go, even. But we'll just have to find out for ourselves. Okay, so next we have Iron Range, Ulm and Vanheim. I don't know if this is maybe just a province defense one, or if this is actually something interesting. No, okay, nothing to see here. Just still Ulm's mighty army, which is looking quite good, against a nothing army. Oh, that actually killed the scout. And Chalad. So the war between Ulm and Agartha continues. This is the fort province of Ulm. Is this just... I don't know who's raiding who here. I guess... Yeah, well, it's Ulm, and this is just a scout trying to see what's going on. Okay, that's good to know. So just a commander scouting out the forces. Battle in Zox. Well, this is my Shuras raiding in. These last 2 are both my Shuras invading from... And this is the first territory that we are attacking from Vanheim. As we can see, Ashura is going to do quite a number on these really minor weak forces. Not really much to talk about, and there's actually even 2 Shuras in this one, so both these provinces pretty easily conquered. I don't know why I said that word funny. Conquered. Yep, there it is. So good, we're moving in. We're actually making inroads, which is a nice first step. Okay. Unexpected event, Emerald Lake, made some money. Glimmering Fields, lost some money. And what's funny, because we lost population there, that's actually this province here, which is already like overwhelmingly destroyed, totally destitute because of the Eremor's dominion. Okay, so let's see, how do we look? Anything else interesting? Oh yeah, so man did lose Aol to a bunch of trolls. Trolls? Pretty powerful. For a basic unit at least, they're not bad. It's their regeneration which ends up being kind of a pain. So we'll see here that they didn't have a terrible army. Man, I mean. But as soon as the trolls with their regeneration just hit, and I mean, did these even have any damage? 7 damage on that guy plus 4. Yeah, it's just not gonna work out. So man lost an army that's not gonna be not too difficult, but neither will it be really trivial to retake that. He'll have to send an actual force, and as we get towards the end game here, it gets really annoying. Sometimes you just leave the old provinces instead of actually trying to retake them, because you need your armies in much more strategic locations than in the middle of your nation. My spy was killed, unfortunately. I guess Agartha patrolled Nidian range, probably looking for stuff, or I don't know why, but they caught me. I doubt that it was, I mean, I suspect it was some kind of active patrol, because I doubt we would be discovered by province defense. Our scouts are pretty good. I mean, it's pretty rare. I've actually never, I don't think I've ever caught a spy with just my base province defense. And this is maybe one of the most important things for us. Saboria, we had that battle in Urinseka. Well, Saboria is now is now secure. And what's more, Fever Fens is also now secure. So we're going to move those guys out, move them north. We're want to reinforce our armies towards Vanheim. And Tortuga-san, before he clears out and heads towards Vanheim, is going to need to take over Scythia throne. I suspect that Eremor is going to try to go take it, but no. In my opinion, Eremor has no right to it. Not that we're really friendly or anything. They don't really have to listen to me, and I don't really have to tell them I'm going to take it back from them. But there is kind of a weird ceasefire or non-aggression pact between nations who aren't communicating, I think. I think it just... Eremor is not... They're not being aggressive towards anybody. And I think that we want to be a little bit careful provoking them, because if they want to launch their full army against me, they'll lose, but it could do some damage, which I'd prefer to avoid. So we'll go to Elidor, and if they move there, we'll just tell them, well, no, we're going to take it. You don't have any right to it. Not that we have any right to tell them they don't have any right to it, but it is Asphodel, and we did certainly most of the damage to Asphodel. I think Eremor and Asphodel were actually technically friends, so this is really him chomping on the remains of the corpse, as we expect. This is what happens all the time when you have one player falls. When they have a few territories left, everyone's trying to gobble up the remains. So, okay, what else do we want to talk about? So we got the forts. We're moving to take Scythia. Oh yeah, and now we're going to keep spreading out and keep gobbling up Vanheim's territory, which this is like really exciting. I kind of made a mistake. I didn't move out from Emerald Lake last turn, and I probably could have, just to pursue and make sure Vanheim doesn't build up. But we'll be doing it this turn. We have 4 more turns for this fortress. I'm going to send Akimoto, my other kappa, to kind of collect these other kappas that are all over the place. And then... wait. I have it backwards. Takeo and Tsunoharu are moving here, so they'll be moving to reinforce Scythia, I guess, or potentially reinforce against Airmore. And it's actually Bakemono moving up here. He's going to move, I guess we'll swing this way. Yeah, just remember that. What else interesting is happening this turn? Not much. We're doing some very basic recruitment, some more sorcerers, magic being, you know, the end game. It's how you do well. So we'll be continuing to improve on that. Oh yes, I do have something interesting to talk about. The thrones. So we were wrong in our original projections around 37, 36, I don't know, turn 35 maybe it was, when I was thinking that I could win with this throne, because I thought it was 2 points, and I was wrong, basically. So here is a map of the thrones I've made. We have these 3 white stars, which you can't really see very well, but they're white because I'm eventually going to fill them in with the color that they are, and it's just to indicate that we don't know what they are. So let me go back, put that away for a second. Let's look at the thrones. So this is the one we know, which, I mean, this is the first one we knew about, I should say. 1 point. This one's 2 points. A little bit west, we have Asphodel's closest one, which is 2 points. This is, I forget, 1 point. It's the winter one, Throne of Winter, which is 1 point. Throne of Winter, 1 point. Then there's, well, we don't know what this one is. And this one we thought was the Throne of Water. Well, it turns out it is the Throne of the Second Age, which is a 1 point throne. So we also know that Man's, the one that was lost, is the Throne of Law. Ulm has the Throne of First Age and the Throne of Brass, and I know because of the order they conquered them that this is the Throne of the First Age and this is the Throne of Brass. This is obviously a Throne of Splendor. And Gartha controls the Throne of Flames, which kind of narrows down which one where that throne is, which brings us to this map once again. So we control this one, War, and we actually have claimed Iron as well. We're moving currently towards winter. We have fire controlled but not claimed. So controlled, not claimed, controlled, not claimed. Very soon to be ours. But you can see that this is kind of, we were in a good position in terms of start, in terms of having a reasonable provinces to gather for income and resources and all that, but we weren't particularly blessed with site searching in the beginning, which makes sense because there's an inverse relation between the magic properties of a province and its potential resources or economy. But I got a little mark there. I don't know what that was. Anyway, but we are in a bad position in terms of thrones, actually. Because although we're by some thrones, we're really by mostly tier 1 thrones. Like, we're the nation with the least access to the Throne of Splendor. You could make probably a claim that Airmore is also in just a terrible spot for trying to take the Throne of Splendor. We are probably closer than them, but other than Airmore, we're the furthest from the Throne of Splendor. And this is just such a throne-rich area. Now, it just so happened that Ulm and Agartha and Man were close enough to make this a difficult thing, and even Vanheim's here, which makes all the contesting of these thrones a little bit easier in general. Like, more people are going to try to contest those thrones. But, let's see. What more do I want to say about this? I mean, this is basically our strategy in a nutshell. We have 1, 1, 1. That's 3. 2 is 5. This is 7. So in order to complete the set, to get 10, we need 2 more thrones. And that is a darn difficult task. So I'm just assuming that one of these 2, this one seems just an impossibility. We might as well just go after the Throne of Splendor. We just have to go so far to get that one. Okay, so I think that N.A. Umbral is the obvious choice first. Enamoral, we're like one province away from it. This is an obvious choice, but you can see that a Maine and a Feasible are difficult. Between these two, Kennan, Oaklands, even this new, like, I don't know, this new area we're carving out near Airmore from Asphodel isn't so far from a Feasible. We basically only have to fight Airmore to get to a Feasible. On the other side of things, we only have to fight Vanheim to get to a Maine, but yeah, I don't know. Getting one of these two is going to be extremely difficult, and I don't know which one it'll be. But it seems quite possible, even though I gave an emerald to Man in our proposed treaty agreement, that it seems very possible for me either to take the fort here, destroy it, give it to Man, and then very easily take the province later, or maybe just take it and say we're going to give it back, and maybe Man gets distracted, he never takes it. I mean, I doubt it. He shouldn't be. He should probably know it's a throne and therefore pretty important. But so that is turn 39 in a nutshell, is us strategizing about what to do with the thrones. And it'd be really interesting. This is funny. I honestly, it's like, I really don't know what these three thrones are. And it doesn't matter because there's 7 tier 1s, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know only one of these 3 can be worth 1 point. Since I have 7 points, if I have all of these, it's just crazy. Like, by sheer number of thrones, we're going to have 6 of the 7, 5, 12, 13. We'll have 6 of the 13. So it's kind of cool that getting one more throne will actually put us in owning the majority of thrones. But just because we're going to own, a lot of these tier 1 thrones, 3 of them. Well, possibly. No, yeah, actually probably 4 of them. Since one of these 3 is a tier 1, and we're going to take 2 of them. So the chances of us not getting a tier 1, I guess, is like 50%. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So we're going to go through, if we end up ascending, if it actually does end up happening, we're going to do it the hard way with all the cheapest thrones. But this is, if it can happen at all, which I didn't think it could for the longest time, it's only courtesy of Vanheim's attempt, which has allowed us to attack Vanheim with Man, and with Ulm as a strong ally. In fact, even Agartha attacking Ulm is kind of a benefit to me right now, because it keeps Ulm occupied. Although, I would feel like Ulm and I are strongly allied now. If situations were different, possibly we'd be fighting over the Ascension victory between ourselves. So, pretty interesting stuff. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling right now. I'm sorry that this was not my crispest episode, and I'll try to get Icy New before back for the next ones, because his insight on Dominions 4 is very helpful. But anyways, thanks for watching this one. This will be a standalone episode by itself, since I see we're over 20 minutes. So enjoy it, and I'll see you back for turn 40. Until then, take care.